Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Public meetings are now open for the public to attend in person with limited seating and an unlimited number for in-person public comments. For information on how to reserve a seat for future meetings or how to sign up for in-person public comments, please visit the city's website at cityofmenifee.us and click on the agenda icon. For anyone who is watching this meeting at home and would like to provide public comments, you must register to speak by emailing publiccomments@cityofmenifee.us prior to the item being heard. Be sure to identify which items you would like to speak on. You will receive instructions on how to participate during the meeting. Could the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Ledoux and Commissioner Thomas are absent. Commissioner White,
Here.
Vice Chair Madrid,
Here.
and Chair Diedrich.
Here. Commissioner White, can I get you to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Okay. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was wondering which flag you were going to face. we had a plethora of flags. We had one.
Item number 4, no presentations tonight. Moving on to item number 5. Are there any modifications to the agenda?
No modifications.
Can I get the commission to please approve the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to item number 6, public comments. Are there any requests to speak tonight, Madam Clerk?
No public comments.
No public comments, thank you. Moving on to item number 7, can I ask the Planning Commission to approve the April 28th, 2021 minutes?
Did I vote? Yeah, I voted.
Looks like that passed. Item number 8, consent calendar, no items tonight. Item number 9, public hearing items, no items tonight. Moving on to item number 10. Community Development Director, can you please introduce this?
Thank you, Chair, members of the Commission, and public that are watching or listening. I'd like to introduce Senior Planner Doug Darnell to give the presentation.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Again, I'm Doug Darnell, Senior Planner. And for this item, staff is requesting that the Commission make a determination that the city's 5-year capital improvement program, or CIP, is consistent with the city's general plan. Pardon me. Is that the controller right there? Thank you. Apologize for that. Okay, so just real quickly on the CIP goals, they support the city's mission statement that Menifee be recognized as a safe, clean, vibrant, and innovative community which responds to the diverse needs of its residents, businesses, and visitors. And it's definitely a very important element to the city. The CIP is the city's plan for the city's long-term capital improvement needs and associated capital financing requirements. The CIP program has 2 parts. It has the capital budget and a capital program. And together, these 2 parts make up the city's 5-year CIP program. And this 5-year CIP that we're talking about today includes a total of 138 projects, which are broken down into different project types listed here and the number of projects for each type. And just want to mention that the City Council recently held a couple of workshops on this. And just last week, the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission recommended City Council adoption of the CIP. So Here are the lists of specific projects for each project type. For transportation projects, there's a total of 30. And they include projects such as the Holland Road Overpass, Bradley and Marietta Road bridges over Salt Creek, interchange projects, and various road widening projects. There are a total of 19 traffic signal projects at various locations throughout the city. There are 23 street improvement projects, such as sidewalks, medians, parkway landscaping, and beautification. There are 21 pavement management projects to resurface streets throughout the city. A total of 9 drainage projects, which are listed here. There are 4 streetlight projects shown here. And there are a total of 11 city facility projects identified here, such as the new Menifee City Hall, fire station and police station improvements, and the Public Works Corporation Yard, just to mention a few. And finally, there are 21 park and recreation projects, such as park amenity enhancements, Evans Park design and construction, and sports field lighting. So, how is the CIP consistent with the general plan? And first, I'll say that the general plan is a set of long-term goals and policies that are used to guide growth and development in the city into the future. And it covers a variety of issues such as land use, circulation, parks and recreation, and infrastructure. And the CIP must be in conformance with the general plan per state law. And the CIP facilitates the implementation of the general plan and provides orderly development patterns and timely extension and provisions of public facilities. So this CIP is consistent with the general plan goals and policies. Staff's reviewed and determined that it is consistent with the policies for each of the 4 main categories identified here: transportation, traffic signal projects, infrastructure and other projects, and the parks and recreation projects. And for each of these categories, it's consistent with specific goals and policies that are identified in the staff report that was provided to the commission, related to the circulation, land use, community design, economic development, and safety elements. Regarding the environmental determination, the CIP is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, as the CIP is not a project per section 15378B4 of the CEQA guidelines. And therefore, it's exempt from the requirements of CEQA. And it's a fiscal budgeting and long-range planning tool. It does not commit the city to construction or implementation of any specific project. With that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission determine that the fiscal year 2021-26 CIP is not a project per CEQA and exempt from the provisions of CEQA, and adopt a resolution finding that the CIP and corresponding CIP budget are consistent with the adopted general plan. With that, this concludes our report. Staff is available, and we have Carlos Geronimo, myself and Carlos Geronimo with the Public Works Department, available for any questions.
Thank you, Doug.
Welcome.
Commissioners, any questions for staff at this point?
Yeah. Good job, Doug, for implementing what we need in those 4 major areas. My question is, how are they prioritized, or how are they when they are?
They are they are prioritized, and I will defer to Carlos to answer questions on that.
Check. Good evening, Commissioners.
Pardon me, Carlos.
Carlos.
I need to interrupt you real quick. Sorry. I think I skipped something on the agenda. Were there any public comments on this matter?
I don't have any public comments. The commission did receive a couple of emails in their blue folder.
Noted. Thank you. Carlos, please continue. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay. Yes, the CIPs are prioritized. There's 4 categories in the prioritization of each project. It has to do with safety and health as number 1 priority. So that's an important item or like that. Or factor. Thank you, John. That we use to prioritize the projects, whether or not they impact health and safety, and there's money or grants that are available to us that we need to spend at a certain time, or we lose the grants or funds, right? So those are considered priority 1s. Priority 2s are also important, and they can be extended for a longer period of time. They're important to health and safety too, but they're not as important as priority 1. And there's priority 3, and so on to priority 4, which priority 4 is very important to law enforcement, to beautify the city, etc. But they can be done in subsequent years. So the projects are being prioritized, and we're currently working with staff to develop those prioritizations and make those recommendations to City Council.
So before the priorities take place, they'll be reviewed by City Council?
Correct.
Okay.
We had 2 workshops with City Council,
Right.
and one of the components is for a City Council to also weigh in on the prioritizations of the projects.
Okay. So we won't see those, but understandably.
Yeah, if I may add, so tonight's action before the
right.
commission is the consistency with the general plan. There were 2 previous council workshops on the CIP, and then there will be a full budget workshop with the council next Wednesday afternoon as well. And ultimately, the adoption of the CIP and the full budget before the city council.
That's going to be a tough one. Thank you very much, Carlos.
Just a little bit of clarification on the prioritization of the projects. I know in many cases those priority projects that the public sees as, these are number 1, sometimes take a little bit longer to complete. And I know that in many of those projects, the funds come from the different buckets, different pots of money. So if maybe you can explain, when those projects have priority, sometimes they are maybe not completed in the time frame that people think because we're still waiting for funding. Can you comment on that?
Sure. And some of those projects are the transportation projects. The interchanges, for example, major road widenings. Those are very high priority projects, but they also cost a lot of money to complete, right? And it's not feasible for the city in 1 year to fund those projects, even though they're priority 1s. So we start working on those, and those are very long-term projects. For example, the interchanges can take anywhere from 6 to 10 years to complete, to go through the entire process. But they're priority 1s, so that means that we continuously work on them, and so until it is completed. Case in point, we have Newport Road interchange. We just completed Scout Road, and now we are working towards Holland Road overpass. It's a priority 1 project too. And yes, in fact, the money comes from different funding sources, to fund this project. Some have federal funds, some have local funds, or state funds as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the staff, commissioners?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I do have a couple questions. I don't want to dig too deep into the specifics, but it was raised today, a matter regarding medians on Bradley, just north of Newport. Is that included in any of these projects that were identified here? I know there's one about the intersection between Bradley and Newport, and one on installing medians on Newport between Marietta and Bradley, but do either of those or any of the others encompass that?
Right, so the CAP is a live document, so it gets updated constantly, right? So new projects come in during the year, and there's an opportunity to include those projects later on. So we have to assess those projects first to see if they're compatible with the general plan. First of all, looks like this project is. We have to know the history. There's a need, there's a safety, and kind of try to develop that project in order to go into the CIP budget book. Right now it is not, because we just learned about it, of course, but it can be brought in subsequently, later on.
Okay, so none of the current projects envision it, but it could be added to it in the future. The comments talked about that it's already been determined that there's a safety issue there. Has that in fact been found, or do we know, has it been determined by traffic or the police that it is already currently a safety issue before any new projects go in?
There is a determination that there is some slight safety issue in the area, and we are continuously looking at the vehicular circulation in the area because there is a development coming in that may potentially add to the issue. Right now, it is not the best situation, but it's not completely failing yet.
So it's on the radar in any case right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So it's being addressed.
Very good.
Commissioners, any comments or discussion further on this?
Good.
Good. All right, there's one resolution for adoption. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt a resolution finding the fiscal years 2021 through 26 capital improvement program is consistent with the city's general plan? And that passed. Moving on to item number 11, Community Development Director's comments. Do you have any for us tonight?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, I'll be brief. I just wanted to let everyone know that we will be hosting a housing element workshop next Thursday evening at 6 p.m. It'll be a hybrid, same format as this evening's meeting, where the public can join us in person or virtually. I mentioned previously in my answer to one of the questions, but the council is doing a budget workshop next Wednesday afternoon here, and we're excited. We'll be welcoming our new Director of Public Works here before the end of May, so we'll be able to introduce him at the next Planning Commission meeting.
Do we still need him after we have our CIPs? I'm kidding. No, we need him bad. I'm kidding.
Thank you, Cheryl. Fellow commissioners, any reports on committee activities?
I have none.
None at this time. Any requests for future agenda items? We do, speaking of that, we do have one that will be coming up at some point, requested by Commissioner Thomas, correct?
Correct, yes, and we're aiming for a meeting in June for that.
In June for that, thank you. All right, with that, I adjourn this meeting at 6:21 p.m.